Is Russia innocent? And your quick answer to that is hell no. You don't need to watch no more. I made a video about Ukraine being innocent, and Russia's not innocent either. Vladimir Putin is a dictator, and he does whatever the hell he wants. If you're a journalist, you object with him, he can snuff out your life in a minute and nobody'd even know. I don't think people understand what it means to be a dictator. Is Putin wrong for attacking Ukraine? Anybody that starts a war is wrong. There is no right or anything. All war is death. Let's understand that. Now, Putin has done a lot of bad things in his life. Now, what Putin will do a lot of times when you watch him in an interview and they ask him a question, he will redirect that question in such a way and give examples of things the U.S. has done. He seems to know our history very well. And of course, it looks like he's condoning it now. Where two wrongs don't make a right. He should be trying to be better than redirecting. Now, Putin has an underground bunker that is the size of a city that he had built. If nukes are launched on him, he will not feel it. It will not hurt him. He can live underground for 100 years and live good. No telling what he's got stocked down there. Maybe he's got entire farms. Who knows? Nobody has got video on what's under there. It'd be great to see it. But one thing's for sure. Ukraine is not going to be able to hold out. Ukraine does not have the weaponry to do it. Russia has double what they have. And even if Russia takes a longer time going in, they're going to do it. And sooner or later, it will be achieved. Now, there are three things about Putin being a dictator. One, I've seen information about him being 70 years old and him possibly being sick. He may be doing this because he's on his way out. He gets upset. Ukraine leader seems to get more social media than he gets, and everybody is against him. That would just make him angrier. Like I said, I think they're trying to push him into using a nuke. Right now, there's nothing anybody can do because Ukraine is not in NATO. And they are using every bit of propaganda to try and get him to overstep that line so they can say, we have a reason to be there. Because they are trying to follow the rules. Putin knew launching a vacuum bomb or a cluster bomb was against the Geneva Convention. He still did it. He don't care. We're dealing with a dictator. I heard a lot of people say, well, people were protesting and they were just picking them up and arresting them. Those people could have been killed. We don't know. And then a lot of people said, well, if 100,000 people decided to protest, then he couldn't kill everybody. That type of mentality just really blows my mind away. I'm afraid, yes, he can. He can walk out there with a machine gun and just mow them down. There ain't a damn thing anybody can do about it. What do you think goes on in North Korea? Hell, they sell kids over there. If you actually knew every little thing that goes on in North Korea, you would be like, why are we not at war with them? You can't save the world. All you can do is try and make your life better on where you live. I would not live in a place with communism. I would not want to live in a place with a dictatorship. Every day you wake up, you would be afraid to say the wrong thing. I definitely wouldn't be on social media if I was over there. You try to keep to yourself, run your little farm, whatever, but it would be more scary. Now, Biden is putting in a lot of sanctions. I have ordered a quiver from a girl in Russia, which was handmade for me. And all this started when it was made. She was getting ready to ship it by plane, and then that day Biden said, no Russian planes can fly to the U.S. Well, I'm not getting my quiver now. Thank you, Bill Biden. It had to be put on a ship, and now it's coming by ship, which is going to take 2 months. So there's this little ship carrying my quiver all the way to the United States. Needless to say, I don't know if I got my hopes up if I'm going to get it or not. And sanctions, I hate to say this, but a lot of times don't work. Sanctions don't always work. They end up hurting the people on the bottom. It hurt the woman that made my quiver by hand. It hurt me. I mean, and what do we have to do with all this? Because they want to play their war games. It ends up hurting the people at the bottom. Even when they had sanctions on Cuba, it ended up hurting the people so terribly bad they were starving there. But everybody's screaming sanctions. I don't think people understand what sanctions can do. Now, at the same time, we're still receiving oil from Russia, and people are screaming they want sanctions on Russia for the oil. Understand, if Biden does that, we're going to jump to probably $8, $10 a gallon for gas. Works in supply and demand. That's how our country works. And that's why Biden hasn't done it yet. Now, of course, he's being pressured by a lot of people in the United States to put those sanctions because those people that are pressuring him have a motive. Because those people want to open the pipeline here in the U.S. So if he puts sanctions on Russia, he probably would have to open that pipeline to balance things out. So those people have an agenda. Everybody has an agenda. The United States, since the Obama days, has been feeding money to Ukraine to those right groups of pure hatred in order to protect them from Russia or in order to slow Russia down, who knows. But you can bet the United States had an agenda with that too. Now, all that money is going to come to waste because probably within the next week or two, Russia's going to be done with it. So those millions and millions and millions of dollars that we sent to Ukraine was for nothing. We have vets, we have disabled people, we have old age people that are living on $600 a month in this country, but we have millions of dollars to send to Ukraine to fight against Russia. In January, I'd posted this on my wall in YouTube under my community tab, where they'd sent like 200 million, and then just a week or so ago they sent another 350 million. That's just this year. This has been going on since the Obama days. United States, or any government for that matter, even if it's Putin, will send money, will send arms, will send training if it fits our agenda. And as soon as it doesn't fit our agenda, we will change our minds and we will take you out. Saddam Hussein's a good example of that. So the difference between the communist country and the dictator, he doesn't have to sit down with a bunch of people and get approval. He just waves his hand and it's done. So we better hope he's in a sane mind and his head's all together. Where in the United States and our freedom of country has to sit down and get approval and talk with other people, and it's more of a joint effort. A little bit more protection there for nukes being launched. So Ukraine is not innocent. Putin is definitely not innocent. The Russian people are programmed with a lot of propaganda. Now, they are getting some news getting through to them. Because just like all countries, we have hackers, we have people that find ways to get around things, VPN, so on and so forth, and information's got. It's pretty hard to hold information down and control it like they did back in the 1940s compared to now. So more and more are finding out. But once he's done taking Ukraine, there ain't nothing we can do. And what every other country is doing in NATO is they're trying to piss him off to do something, to break some rule, so they all have the right to jump in there. It is very frustrating to watch a country slowly disappear, especially on live social media, that does not want them there. And a lot of people find it disgusting. But everybody wants to pick a side. Everybody wants to know black and white. I personally don't pick a side. I do not pick Putin's sides. I do not pick Ukraine's side. The side I actually pick, if you must know, is history's side. When history unfolds, it does not matter what side I pick or what I believe. History will tell us what it is. I had posted in my community forum a section of what happened in history where Russia actually lost 24 million soldiers in World War II, where the United States lost 300,000. It's all legit. You can fact check me. I actually had two people get extremely upset and thought I must be a Russian lover, when all I did was quote history. The bottom line is, history is truth. And if I trigger you, then that's a good thing. Because that means you're going to have to actually use your brain. But please, don't believe me, go check me. I had one guy check me on one of my videos I shared, and he told me and said, that's a propaganda video. I went, are you sure? I had to go back and check it again, and he was right. I had shared a propaganda video. I was like, oh my God, look what I just did. Even I'm not protected from it. Even I get fooled. And I really take my time checking things. But in the United States, we're allowed to openly express our opinions. He was allowed to go there and talk on there, even though YouTube removed it. And that's something that really pisses me off. YouTube has been removing a lot of comments. I'll get the email, I'll see it, and I'll go, are you kidding me? I'll go back, and it's not there. I have even tried replying to some people because they have actually replied with links to people in Russia, and you got to watch it with the subtitles turned on because they wanted to share more information. And I've had to put those links in so they could see it. I hate what YouTube is turning into. YouTube is turning into Russia. Facebook is turning into Russia. Our social media companies are dictators. Why are we not pissed at that? We're pissed at Putin. I can't even have a decent conversation on YouTube at all in my comment section or my community section. I literally have to try and get their email so we can talk and email privately, and then I can get the full story. It is ridiculous that I have to do this in the United States of America. So if I'm triggering you, I'm glad. But you need to start opening your eyes more on how you're living in a communist country more and more than you believe. But as it stands, Ukraine is not innocent. A lot of history back there. A lot of right-wing groups, a lot of hate groups. And the United States, since the Obama days, has sent them a lot of money. And that's just one country. Can you imagine how much money the United States sends to other countries? We have elderly people that are literally starving. And by them having an extra couple $100 a month, it would make a difference between them eating shit and eating something decent. We really need to start looking more at our own people and our own country instead of what's happening around the world. But everybody wants to scream, I support Ukraine. Do you support the disabled? Do you support the elderly? Do you support our vets? Because the amount of money that we're sending across could feed a lot of people. Our groceries are doubling because of sanctions. Our gas is going to go to $10 a gallon. Sanctions do nothing but hurt people at the bottom. And they're going to be hurting us really bad. So keep screaming for more sanctions. Keep screaming like there's a side and this is a football team. Because in the end, yes, Putin's a crook. Putin is not a good guy, but either is Ukraine. You want to pick the lesser two evils? Knock yourself out. But I will always be on the side of history to see what happens. So if you want to judge me, and want to be narrow-minded and not get the facts. It seems like one day we think a country's great, the next day we want to take out their leader. Less than 3 or 4 years ago, Putin was in the United States on many shows talking. We welcomed him. What happened? I know Biden and Putin don't get along. Biden does not like Putin. Is there an agenda there? There's a lot of things going on here that we don't even know about. But is Putin honest? No. Is Ukraine honest? No. This is a mess. And hopefully Putin does not press that magic button, and hopefully we're not all racing to try and survive. When I actually leave the house, I actually look into the sky to see if I see a red glow anymore. I've never done that before. Are you doing that? Anyways, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.